Welcome to the third video in the 5-minute poker coaching series. Today, I'm going to help JinBear666 plug the leak of failing to double barrel. Let's do this. Alrighty, so JinBear is suffering from the leak of not double barreling enough. And if we put that into a statement, he could say, I lose money when I fail to double barrel. Let's see how I figured that out. Here's his stats: 49,000 hands, negative $268, and about break even in win rate. And that's because he plays a few different stakes right there. But as I was looking through the stats, one of the things that stood out to me was cbet on the flop, 81%. On the turn, 46% right here. So that was the very first thing I noticed. There's a large gap between cbet the flop at 81% and the turn at 46% for a gap of 35%. That just clues in all of your opponents who have HUDs themselves. They know that you are a turn honest player. Meaning, as soon as you check that turn, they're going to fire to take it away from you, right? They're going to stay in just about every time on the flop because you're c-betting so much. Now, how can we dive into this a little bit more? Well, we can filter for the opportunity to c-bet on the flop. You also want to filter for c-bet the flop, and then you did not c-bet on the flop. Now, what you want to do is compare those three numbers, so I'll show you how that goes right now. And of course, I have all of these saved as quick filters. C-bet flop opportunity. With the opportunity to c-bet, JinBear over 3,200 hands, big profit, profitable win rate at positive 82. What about when he actually does pull off the c-bet? 2,600 hands, positive 123 big blinds per 100 hands. Really good win rate right there. Things are looking good. But what about when he does not c-bet? For shame, negative 89 big blinds per 100. So he's obviously making more money when he c-bets versus not c-betting, right? You're going to run those three filters and record the number of hands as well as the win rate. And I did that separately right here. On the flop, positive, positive, negative for not c-betting. On the turn, negative just with the opportunity. And the reason why that is negative, because more often than not, he fails to c-bet with a very high negative win rate. His opponents are betting as soon as he checks and taking the pot away from him. That leads us to one conclusion. JinBear and all of you, if this is your leak, you make more money on average when c-betting than not c-betting on both streets. So that just leads us here to our sticky note. Bring that gap closer and look for more positive EV opportunities to double barrel. This should be JinBear's focus over the next 10,000 hands, a double barrel focus. His goal is to bring his flop c-bet down and his turn c-bet up to make that gap a little bit closer right there. Now, the first part is decreasing the flop c-bet, right? Before you c-bet bluff on the flop, ask yourself, are they folding versus my c-bet? If they ain't folding, you ain't bluffing. Also, consider your position. Bluffs work better when you're in position. Consider that board texture. Hard to hit boards are easier to bluff. Wet boards like Jack 9-10 suited, kind of a tough one there. Also, consider the number of opponents. One opponent, easier to bluff. 3 opponents, 4, 5 opponents, very difficult to bluff. Hold off on those. And number 5, consider how you will approach the turn if they call you. If things look ugly and you'll never double barrel, then consider just checking on that flop. The second part of this was increasing the turn double barrel. So plan to double barrel with lots of equity outs. That means there's many cards that can add equity to your hand. Let me show you an example. I like this c-bet right here by Hero by JinBear. On the turn, any ace or king gives them a top pair hand. Any flush gives them a flush, or any spade gives them a flush draw. Any queen or jack gives them a gut shot. There's 5 different equity outs right there that they can use to barrel that turn, this is a really good opportunity to double barrel. And lastly, break rule number 1 right here, if your opponent is turn honest. So if their fold to c-bet on the flop is real low, but they fold a lot on the turn, then you might want to consider planning that double barrel, even if you don't have equity outs, even if it looks like they won't fold on the flop. They fold so much on the turn, it could be worth it. And then, of course, tag all the related hands as you play. All the successful ones, the failed double barrels, and questionable hands where you weren't really sure. And of course, review your tagged and questionable hands in the following day's study session. And do this as a warm-up before your play session. Cool beans, thank you for watching, and of course thanks to Gin Bear for opening up their database to us. I hope that you put to use what I showed you today so you can improve your game. Click either one of these videos right now to watch more in the series. And if you want me to be your coach, go to smartpokerstudy.com/coaching.